Hey y'all, let me know if anybody's out there. Say hi so I can know that you're out there. And if you can hear me, say I can hear you. Please, thank you. Just waiting for some messages to come through. Hi, Mom. Okay, I see I'm live on Facebook. Hey, Carl. What's up, y'all? Hey, Sire. Welcome back. All right. Hey, Helena. Great, awesome. I'm a little late. Hey, Will, trying to get this a new modem or Wi-Fi modem router set up, so I was a little late. My bad. But I did want to talk about what's happening today. You guys leave your comments and let me know what you want to talk about as well. You may have watched the George Floyd memorial services today. Kamala Harris referred to it as a national day of mourning on the Senate floor, which I completely agree with. Thank you, Carl. And it was very heart-wrenching. It was actually jarring, too, just to see a funeral, right? Because we've been under a pandemic and, social distancing, but, people have to mourn. This whole week since George Floyd's murder execution has been this cathartic need to release and get out there. And so I can completely understand how and why everybody is out there paying respects to George Floyd. So if you guys watched it, let me know what you thought about that. Hey, Lorraine, Jose, Andrew, Mr. L. Smith. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Malarkey Free Zone. Sire, yes. Kamala Harris was absolutely on fire at the hearing. So if you haven't seen it, and I was trying to play around with how I can show the clip during this broadcast because it is so worth seeing it. It's on C-SPAN. But if you don't know, Kamala Harris has been on a mission to make anti-lynching a crime, a federal crime in the United States. It's still not done. And she was successful. Her, along with Cory Booker and Tim Scott, were successful at getting the bill passed unanimously through the Senate. However, this was back in 2018. But then you had a Republican House that didn't pass in or didn't get taken up in. Then she got it passed again in 2019. Then the House passed it recently. And so now it's coming up for a vote again. Well, Senator Rand Paul, apparently, who did not get his ass beat enough by his neighbor, who apparently has not seen the light from COVID-19, tried to put forth an amendment to weaken the Kamala Harris's and Cory Booker's and Tim Scott's anti-lynching law. And so Kamala Harris spoke out about what happened on the Senate floor. It was a rousing speech. I mean, it was just... I've seen her anti-lynching speech the other times that it passed, but to see it again today in the context, recognizing that today is George Floyd's funeral, also recognizing the Ahmaud Arbery hearing. I don't know if you guys saw about that. I'm going to get to your questions. I'm seeing your comments. I'm going to get to them as soon as I finish this thought. Where somebody testified, or there's testimony, that one of the McMichaels, Travis or George, I don't know which one, stood over Ahmaud Arbery's body and called him the N-word. And so Kamala Harris she invoked Ida B. Wells. She called lynching our national stain. It was such a powerful speech that I really recommend that you watch it and share it. More importantly, share it with other people, because we still are having modern day lynchings as she invoked Ahmaud Arbery. Okay, so I'm going to get to some of these questions, comments. Please feel free to share any other thoughts about Kamala Harris. Oh, I need to pin. I don't know if I can pin from this view though. Oh no. So on the other one I could pin. I can pin the questions I'm responding to. So I'm testing out different ways of live streaming. Right now I'm live streaming through this software called OBS. And I don't think I can pin the questions, so I'll have to read them out. Leslie asks, before I get to her, hi Georgia, hi Leslie, hi Nipper, hi Tony. Tony was tuned into this podcast I recorded earlier that I'll share when it comes out. Can you give it says, Reecie, can you give your thoughts on celebrities being there at George's memorial service? I think it was very nice of them to pay their respects. I think I saw Ludacris, Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart, T.I., Tiny. I think that as long as the family welcomes them, then I think that that's perfectly fine for them to pay respects. I was concerned about nobody having masks on. People had their masks down here. Child, you got to wear your mask up here for it to work. Otherwise, it's just decoration on your face. But I thought it was a very lovely service, very fitting service. So yeah, but I don't have a problem with it. I didn't view it as grandstanding. Some people might view it that way, but it seems to me in these kind of situations that families are heartened by the presence of higher profile people. I saw Amy Klobuchar was there, but that's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm not gonna drag somebody over paying their respects. I'm not gonna do that. Andrew said, "Where's the neighbor when you need him?" Yes. Jose on Facebook has a comment. I hope that you guys, wherever platform you're on, because I'm just live streaming this to Facebook, to YouTube, and to Twitter, please share a link of Kamala's speech on the Senate floor for her anti-lynching bill. She was also addressing the Senate Judiciary hearing and how they were talking about subpoenas, politically motivated subpoenas, instead of addressing the judicial branch, or instead of addressing their oversight powers. Like, for instance, William Barr, the Attorney General, sicking tear gas on peaceful protesters. I mean, she has been on top of her things today. Andrew, scroll up. Jose shared the link about with Kamala Harris's thing. Yvette Outlaw, that's my mama. She said, this country traded chains for handcuffs. They need to truly free our people. Ain't that the truth? Okay? Ain't that the truth? Sire, you said follow black woman views is follow black woman. Now, black woman 1 is my backup page on Twitter, but it's black woman views is the one that I maintain on all of my social media things. But thank you for telling people to follow me. Scamper asks, how can a white woman not offend when trying to be there to uplift your voice? Well, the best way to not offend is to be quiet and to listen, and to live what you're saying. Live your hashtags, live your slogans, live your tweets. So anybody can say anything, but I need to see receipts. So I think that that's the best way to not defend. Be the change that you're advocating for. Start with yourself. That would be my recommendation. Cyrus said Reverend Al was good. Yes. Hi, Michael from South Florida. Nipper said don't drag. I'm not dragging. Thanks, Robin, for sharing that. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of the question. So one of the things I teased about, not teased like that, but I announced, I hope somebody's still out there listening. But one of the things that I talked about, I said I was going to talk about, was I looked into this whole defund police thing. So there's two things that are happening right now in terms of advocacy. Not two, but there are two ones I'm going to talk about today, which is advocacy for police reforms. So one movement you have over here, good afternoon, Positive Brothers, thanks Patrick, is the defund the police movement, right? And then over here you have the 8 can't wait movement, right? So the 8 can't wait movement, from my perception, it seems to be pushed by activists like Samuel Sengawe, who Roland told me how to pronounce that, Black Lives Matter, different Black Lives Matter organizations. And so they have a specific set of goals that they think can be implemented right away. And some people like Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms has already said she's going to take them up on that. It's called Campaign Zero, 8 Can't Wait. So that's faction over there. And then you have a faction over here, and I'm not saying that they're diametrically opposed, because there's probably overlap, I would think, that is pushing for defund the police. Now, I know the knee-jerk reaction when you hear defund the police is take all the police off the streets. Now, I would imagine that some people would aspire to that, but I did look into it because I wanted to get a better understanding of it, because I'm telling you, after seeing these images and these videos of the NYPD, it's all across the country. I shared about a young man, Justin Howell, in Austin, who's in critical condition because he was hit with a rubber bullet. Hi, Miss Mary. Hi, Hillary Millennials. Hey, everybody. I love all y'all. Thank you for the shout outs. And in New York, they're going around beating people. So seeing just the militarization in D.C., it looks like a war zone. Not like how Meghan McCain is talking about it, but because we have tanks and unidentified military forces with no badges, no way of identifying them. That's what's disturbing to me. And so, Carl, to your point, I agree that we need to demilitarize our police department. He says here, I'm so sick of seeing police kill people unarmed. The question I always ask, why can all other Western countries arrest people unarmed and not shoot them? What makes a drunk in Canada, UK, Australia different than one in America? I completely agree with you, Carl. Cyrus says, white nationalists are not giving up their control. These police officers are out of control. I agree. Tony says police in Ireland are unarmed. Tony, are you in Ireland? I know you put me up on that Ireland podcast, but I'm just wondering about that. Hey, Cannon Chick. Hey, Leslie. Okay, so let me just get into this defund the police. It's not saying take all of the cops off the street. What it's saying is put in place measures that do not increase the size of the police force. And so I read this kind of compare and contrast. And I thought it was interesting the way that they characterized it, and they put it in a way that I hadn't seen before. So I did share this on my Twitter, where you guys can go back and look at it. And I'm going to respond to some of these things too, but I just want to get through this. And then 8 can't wait. So let me start with 8 can't wait, because that one is a little bit easier. It's only 8 things. So the things that 8 can't wait are advocating for right now: ban chokeholds and strangleholds, require de-escalation, require warning before shooting, exhaust all alternatives before shooting, duty to intervene, ban shooting at moving vehicles, establish use of force continuum, require all force to be reported. Together, these policies can decrease police violence by 72%. So 8can'twait.org. If you want more information on that. Now, the interesting thing about this, I'm a data girl, and so knowing that Samuel Sengawe is actually behind this push as well, I know that he's studied very, very extensively the crime or the police use of force and things like that. Kamala Harris put forth open justice, which he did shout out as being something that has helped him and compile this data. So if you hear people, and there's some defund the police people, I've seen these criticisms that say that 8 can't wait is not going to make a difference. That is not true, because based on the data that we've seen, and I believe them because I've seen the work that this man does, that this group does, 72% of police violence can be reduced. That's a worthy, aspiration. That's an achievable, specific goal that we can put in place. So I completely support the objectives of 8 can't wait. All right. So before I get back and I talk a little bit about the defund the police, I'm going to get to some of what you guys are saying. And I'm going to be on here probably another 20 minutes tops, because I do have to get ready for rolling. Check me out at 6 p.m. Eastern time. But let me go on ahead and go up. So my mom asked, what do you think Biden is waiting for to announce his running mate? Initially, I thought it was just a clout chase to milk these women for all they can, milk their supporters for money, fundraising, publicity. But now I think he's just in a situation where it's just not good timing. So... and it would look really tacky trying to continue this whole Veepstakes parade that he's been engaging in. That's my opinion. Who decided that rubber bullets were okay? They're dangerous as fuck. Yes, the destruction I'm seeing from these rubber bullets is absolutely insane. People are being maimed, disfigured. Like I said earlier, Justin Howell is in critical condition. It's really sickening. Hey, Kate. Okay, Tony. All right, gotcha. Carl says, even police killing people with knives, why can't all countries arrest them and not kill them? It's all about tactics. Well, they arrest plenty of white people without killing them as well. Let's be clear. Darlene Ruth, the terrorist who shot 12 black people in a Charleston church, South Carolina, was arrested, given a bulletproof vest and Burger King. So people in America know how to arrest people without killing them. They just know that they can kill black people and get away with it. Somebody says, saw a video of police busting in an apartment with AR-15s. Why do police need AR-15s? Good questions. Nicole says, police departments are a relatively new institution in our history. Perhaps we've had slave patrols, so there's been an iteration of the police. Okay, Jarvis, demilitarize the police, cut funding for the police, federally require body cameras. Okay, Rich says, so Rich was responding to Carl. Andrew as well. Jarvis says, do extensive checks on candidates. Georgia, you're welcome. I agree. All right. So I'm caught up. Jose, I did address Rand. So I didn't talk about Rand Paul's comments per se, but I did absolutely address Kamala Harris's response to Rand Paul. And by the way, I still encourage you all to watch that. But Rand Paul wants to have the lynching requirement be gory. Like, the problem that he finds with Senator Kamala Harris and Cory Booker and Tim Scott's lynching bill, anti-lynching bill, is that it's not gory enough. And it just goes to the capacity our country has for violence and terrorism and just brutality towards Black people. So it's really sickening for him to, put that out there, how high his capacity essentially is for somebody to be lynched. Well, it can't just be a lynching. It has to be a really gory, disfigured type of lynching. And Kamala Harris really drove home that point really, really brilliantly. Okay, so so if y'all got what I was saying about 8 can't wait, then let me know, because I didn't see nobody make a comment about 8 can't wait. Y'all giving y'all opinions, which I appreciate, but I just want to know if y'all caught that part. Phil asked, I see so many police troops without badge numbers, names. Is that legal? I didn't think it was, but apparently, I don't know, maybe it must be. Shaka said de Blasio being booed by a crowd of New York protesters. De Blasio is a fucking appalling. I mean, he botched the response to COVID-19 out there trying to be a Bernie Sanders surrogate while the pandemic was starting to ravage New York. Now he's just been all up the NYPD's ass, making excuses for them and their violent behavior. It's disgusting. I also was very, very disgusted by Andrew Cuomo apologizing to the police. Seeing all of these images of the NYPD brutalizing people. I mean, NYPD is one of the worst police departments in the history of our country. So I don't know why anybody would be apologizing to their asses. Thank you, Pam. Okay. My mom says, would he consider kneeling on someone's neck gory enough? It's not, unless you're disfigured, according to Rand Paul, it doesn't count, which is crazy. Thank you, Allison. All right. Yes, Melanie says, follow 8 can't wait on Instagram. Awesome. Okay. Calistine says, drug testing of all drugs as well as steroid testing. Roid rage is real. Psychological testing. All right, yeah. And Alert Oregon just said they're right up there with the LAPD. Yeah, we've heard a lot about Rodney King. I grew up behind the LA riots and seeing all that kind of stuff too. Wasn't really a big fan of Meghan Markle's comments, to be honest with you. She lost me when she started using the word rioting and looting and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, girl, I'm cool on you. But I do recognize in her position that it was very courageous of her to speak up the way that she did. She still kind of, aired on the little respectability side a little bit too much for my taste. But, I would give her a B for effort. Anyways, all right. Yeah, you guys feel free to drop off whenever. I'm just sitting there talking and watching what y'all have to say. Indira says, 8 can't wait sounds like such basic shit that should have been the norm. Unfortunately, common sense basic things are not things that we've implemented yet on a wide scale. So, 8 can't wait. Let me see. Before I get to that, somebody says, can you explain what Antifa is? Antifa is short for anti-fascist. It's a loosely organized, I wouldn't even call it organized people, but it's just people that are like I don't know how to explain it any more than that. Okay, I'm going to get to some of these questions after I talk about this defund the police, so that you guys can know, at least generally speaking, on average, what people are talking about. So what they're saying is, to their point, body cameras, community policing, more training, civilian review, oversights in prosecutions, they all essentially lead to more funding for the police, right? Because you have to buy this armor, you have to buy this equipment. And so I understand that concept of why that would not be considered advisable. I'm not really sold either way, because I do think that these body cameras, for instance, are important in documenting things if people have them on, which they don't always do. Community policing, different people have different definitions of it. The way they're characterizing it in this particular graphic that I'm using and that I shared on my Twitter, I can see how they, say that. So basically, what the defund the police movements, what they're trying to do is they're trying to take away the notion that the police are the solution to safer communities, right? So they're saying that things that increase police presence, even if it's community policing, even if it's, body cameras and things like that, are not helpful, because it still continues to drive this narrative that the police are the answer. So I understand that concept. On the other hand, I also understand why people, I think it's it's a little hyperbolic to say that all of these things that have actually kind of been proven to be effective to some degree are worthless. But I'm going to focus less on what they're against and focus more on what they're for. So you've been hearing defund the police, defund the police. So what that means is defunding, meaning taking away funding for certain aspects of the police. Like, for instance, and I agree with these things. I'm gonna just list off the things that they're saying. Suspend the use of paid administrative leave for cops under investigation. I agree with that. Withhold pensions and don't rehire cops involved in excessive force. I agree with that. A lot of these cops who kill black people are back on the force. Require cops to be liable for misconduct settlements. Yes, I agree with that. Cap overtime accrual and overtime pay for military exercises. Yes, I agree with that. If you've heard something that you don't agree with, then leave a comment in here. But so far, I'm agreeing with everything. If you agree with it, then say you agree as well. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Withdraw participation in police militarization programs. I think that's reasonable. Prioritize spending on community health, education, affordable housing. Duh, right? And reduce the size of the police force. All of these things seem to me like very reasonable things. And they are things that can obviously be done. I don't know if you guys saw that the LAPD defunded their budget by $100 million. Of course, their budget is over $1 billion. But I think that my whole point of this discussion, before I wrap it up and I'm going to answer questions, then I'm going to have to go, is that the 8 Can't Wait has proven methods to reduce police violence. That's great. If you can do it immediately, that's great. If we can put the pressure on these mayors, on these police chiefs to put these things in place right away, that's great. So I don't like the criticisms about them from like some of the defund the police. I'm not going to say, it was a handful of people that I saw just and so what I did was I looked through the 8 Can't Wait hashtag just to kind of get a sense of what people are saying about it. And I saw a lot of people that were really poo-pooing it. But again, there's data to back up what they're suggesting. But then on the other side, not other side meaning oppositional, but just other side meaning other perspective, the defund the police also sounds very reasonable. The things that I just mentioned, I laid out several things. They all sound completely reasonable to me. And you guys seem to agree with that as well. So just a little bit of insight there. For what those, if you hear 8 Can't Wait, Campaign 0, defund the police, to give you a little bit more of what they're saying. All right, so let's see. I'm going to answer these questions and then I'm going to run. Catch me again at 6 p.m. on Rollin'. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. I'm not live streaming on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm doing this every day. Monday through Friday at least, just to get on here and chat with you all, see what you guys are talking about. You guys tell me stuff I hadn't heard about yet, and it's just an exchange of information and thoughts and views. I'm putting the views in Black women views, right? I want you guys to tell me what you think, and I want to hear. And also, sometimes it's getting harder to kind of keep up with my notifications, and so this is the way for me to kind of keep that connection that I enjoy with you all. So hey Kelly, let's see. All right, Allison, I think you said something. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Let's see. Hi to DDOS and Twitch. I have like 2 followers on Twitch because I'm only on there to listen to my DJ. Let's see. Laconia said, I agree with that. Yes. See, I was telling you guys, this stuff sounds reasonable. Phil said media giving themselves a pat on the back because they aired 8 minutes of silence. Well, that's the least they can do because they air every single damn store that gets looted, any window that's broken, any trash can set on fire. The media airs that, so you can go on ahead and air 8 minutes of silence during George Floyd's funeral. Hey Ray, Mrs. K. If I didn't shout you out, just know I'm shouting you out in my head. Let's see. The police should no longer get the benefit of the doubt if they use force and not have their body cams on. I agree. That seems like obstruction of justice to me. That should be a charge. The unions should not be so powerful. I think that's what you were trying to say. Allison says there are some that discuss that the police should not be intervening with mental health. I don't know exactly what that means, but it's out there. I agree with that because they're not medically trained professionals. They don't know necessarily how to recognize that somebody is dealing with that without escalating the situation. That was something that I watched a clip. It was like Holly Robertson Pete and her mom actually tried to, worked with Kamala Harris on some advocacy about Holly Robertson Pete's son is autistic and concerns about that. So there are a lot of legitimate concerns about police involving themselves with people who have mental health issues. I don't know if you guys remember the black man who was actually a nurse, or he was an employee, and one of his patients was having a mental health break, and the cops shot the black guy. So yeah, they totally, need to figure out something else. Laconia says reduce the force in what way? That's the thing that has to be figured out, right? I think that to the point of, maybe you don't have police on the beat in the same way to respond to mental health people. I'm sure there are a number of different ways that we can break up the public safety responsibilities where it's not always somebody with a badge and a gun coming and responding to the situation. When companies want to change culture, what do? That's a very lengthy question that I don't have all the answers to right now, but yeah. Police union is calling it a political stunt to reduce the LAPD budget. Patrice, yeah, I mean, is it a stunt? Probably. I don't know how impactful $100 million is, but it makes for a good headline. Chris says, do you think we may end up with Medicare for all, Obamacare type split with defund, a can't wait issue? Yes, unfortunately, I saw a lot of really just negative posts on the a can't wait side. People are like, no, that's not enough. You have to defund the police. There's no zero-sum game when it comes to reforms. What can you do immediately? What can you do that's been proven? Those are very reasonable things. So I don't understand why things that are reasonable are always derided and meant to be like, oh, you're some sort of sellout or something like that. I think it's appalling how people do that. But I hope that people see that they're not in opposition to each other. You don't have to agree with every measure on each one to be for police reform. And if you're not for the concept because you don't understand what the concept is of defund the police, then that's just something that maybe people should reach out and try to educate people more, like I tried to do today. I'm not gonna turn around hashtag defund the police, stuff like that, because I still need more information. But from what I see, I agree with what they're saying. How about whistleblower protection for cops who inform on other cops? Keith, that's a good question. And actually, I've been meaning to say this, but so there are some people that say there are no such thing as good cops, right? I don't agree with that because I think that there are people that do risk their lives, and this and the other people, you know, as soon as you say cops risk their lives and stuff, they start calling you a coon, all kind of stuff. But there are some cops that are really in it for the right reasons. There's one person in particular, I won't name her, but she is a person that spoke up against, police bad behavior. And she was penalized for it. You know, she was a black woman, police officer. And so there are good cops, you know, that out there that speak up and then get penalized, and that's not fair. Incentive Heckler says, what about incentive-based programming like Live PD? How can we get rid of that? Is that real? Because I didn't know that was really, I mean, I've seen it, but I just thought it was like kind of fake. Did I hear that Kia tried to disrespect Kamala? I did not. That does not surprise me because she's a flamethrower. But a lot of people are very ignorant about Kamala. But I would be happy to debate people. Nobody is taking me up on my debate so far. Killer Mike hasn't taken me up on a debate. This person who called Kamala Harris evil did not take me up on my debate. So, you know, people are full of shit. They want to sit up there and they want to put stuff out there, but they don't want to be challenged on it. I am still scheduled for Roland Martin Unfiltered. I'm going to hop off here in a couple more minutes to see if I can get to the end of this. How do you think the left will resolve the issue of being police union / being pro-union, pro-labor? That is going to be a challenge. The police unions are already starting to push back on Joe Biden. So I think there is going to be a real political test of will to see how far the Democrats want to go with this. But if they don't, I think they're going to have some issues. What is your opinion on Texas Senator claiming this was a setup by the Democrats? I think whoever said, you're talking about Ted Cruz, he's a moron. Michael, I agree. I'm trying to speed through these, so I'm not going to read off all the comments. All right. Oh, Sire, our black children are dealing with emotional and mental health. This is trauma for them. It really is. It's so heartbreaking. I see incredible strength and conviction and power in these children. I've shared a couple of images, but I'm also so heartbroken at the trauma that's driving this. They're so young. They don't have the innocence. There are people who are white people in their 50s, 60s that are admitting that they didn't know there was systemic racism, or they didn't know that things were, or these things are bad. And you have 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old children, 4-year-old, 5-year-olds that are just vividly aware of this injustice. And so it's I am proud of the way our people persevere, but I'm so devastated at how much trauma these kids are being subjected to at such a young age. Okay. Okay, Mrs. K answered her own question. Great. Let's see. How much time should be given to the police department mayor to investigate police misconduct? Less time than what they take. I think they like to drag stuff out. The police union, the bargaining stuff, it does have a limit on it. But they obviously don't, they drag their feet. They drag their feet when it comes to investigations. But most police investigations are actually required to be, shouldn't say most, but in many places, they're required to be completed in an hour. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Derek and Pam. All right. Mustafa and Kelly B. Who's Kelly B? Mustafa? Is he on Roland? Because I'm surprised if he's super anti-Kamala. Isn't it crazy that not one black TV network aired the George Floyd funeral? That is a little crazy. That's disappointing. They, BT aired Aretha Franklin's funeral. Blizzard says, where's Diddy? I don't know. I don't look to the celebrities for for guidance. I know that people are mad at Diddy because he said earn the black vote and things like that, but I don't have a problem with him saying that, to be honest with you, because people do need to earn the black vote. Let's see. Thank you. I could have, of course the ball ain't shit. None of these white liberal progressives, these Not all of them, but I'll say a lot of them are full of shit. Like I said, if you sitting up here looking at everything that's happening right now and you still team all white ticket, then I don't trust your hashtag Black Lives Matter. I don't trust your black squares on Blackout Tuesday. I don't trust none of that. Let's see. Yes, I agree with you, Greg. Miss Mary, girl, there are no race troubles, right? Okay, so then how are black people getting gunned down and killed by the police then if there's no race troubles? Or Ahmaud Arbery getting gunned down and killed by people who came on their doggone business. Sire, yes, shout out to my husband. He is the best husband in the world. I am the luckiest girl in the world to have him. And I will finish it off. This is the last comment that I see. Phil says, more barricades, fences going up at the White House. What a punk. Y'all's president is a punk ass little bitch. Because he has to sit up there and build a bigger wall around the White House. You coward. You have every kind of Secret Service protection, snipers, and you just cannot even stand the sight of people exercising their right to protest. It's sickening. Okay, I'm going to answer these BJH's question. Besides Kamala, what's the first thing, or what's something I would like to see done in the first 100 days of Biden administration? Appoint as many black people as possible to as many positions. That's the first thing I want to see. Patrice says timing of Diddy's remarks is problematic but not bad. Why won't he meet with Joe Biden and Tom Perez? Have they tried to meet with him? I don't know. All right, I'm wrapping it up because I have to get ready for rolling. So thank you all for tuning in. Yes, Leah, at our taxpayer expenses is this wall, right, that Mexico's supposed to pay for is now a wall in front of doggone the White House because Donald Trump is a bunker bitch. So on that note, thank y'all for joining me. Tomorrow's Friday. I will be back on Friday. And y'all stick with me. Follow me, comment to me, and share these little broadcasts so that I can get more, hear more from y'all, and y'all can hear more from me. Bye.